Hello, everybody. We're here with Brittney Morrison and Nick Attanasio from Bozzuto. Welcome to Multifamily X.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're at an IMN conference in Denver, Colorado. What brings you here, Brittney?
Yep, so I am located in the Denver area and I'm going to be speaking today. Resident satisfaction and engagement and what makes residents happy. Excited to introduce Bozzuto to the conference today.
What about you, Nick? What brings you here?
I'm also based in the Denver area. I work specifically in the brand and marketing side of our Bozzuto's company. So working on all of the new developments and here to support Brittney, and we very much play a role in making sure that we have resident satisfaction and just making sure that we have the best properties in market.
Brittney, what should we expecting from you on a panel this afternoon?
So talking about what residents want, what's really important to them. The reason being Bozzuto, we're really focused on having a love brand. So if you think about, of course, the Marriotts, the Uniteds out there, we really want that to be us. And we have a huge following. We've been around for a very long time. We're going to be coming up on 40 years in a couple of years, and we're expanding out west. So it's really about how we've tracked resident engagement and making sure they're seeing consistency and reliability across our brand, and making sure we're monitoring, surveying, audits to make sure that our culture is being maintained in every community that we open or take over.
The love brand, I love it. Nick, what is Bozzuto bringing that other management companies don't bring from a marketing perspective, from a brand awareness perspective?
Yeah, it's a really great question. So I think to kind of touch on Brittney's points a little bit, that one of the things that we focus on pretty dramatically is consistency across all of our different platforms. Through the customer journey, we're also an extremely data-driven company, and we actually have an entire part of our marketing department solely dedicated to analytics and digital marketing. That allows us to have an entire engine of support for those of us who work on the day-to-day marketing to allow us to take that data and make strategic decisions, whether it's shifting a campaign or getting into a different type of platform. Another thing that we do is we like to be on all of the different touch points. Print collateral is maybe on the downward spiral, but it's not gone. So we think it's really important to keep maintaining a presence there, but understanding that industry in general is shifting towards a tech-focused marketing approach. And so we really take this data, we understand where our residents are coming from, we understand what drives their buying decision. So whether that's amenity focused, whether that's floor plan focused, we also work in an advisory fashion. So we're having these conversations years prior to the building opening, which allows us to take our experience and all of that data and help our owners and our clients make the right decisions while they're developing the building, instead of trying to fix the problem after the fact, which can certainly pose its issues down the line.
Brittney, back to you. I want you to share as much as you could share with us here. What are Bozzuto's plans in Denver for expansion?
Strategic growth. We are not just taking on every client. We want to make sure that the clients we're partnering with align with us in terms of culture and how we're meeting our residents. Our goal is to provide sanctuary. So as we grow, we want it to be meaningful. We are not worried. We don't want to sacrifice the culture over growth, is one thing we talk about a lot. So it's making sure to pick strategic partnerships, communities, and making sure the Bozzuto brand comes through and the client's brand comes through as well.
Nick, going back to you, and I want to ask you, how do you see your employees, and specifically facilities employees, as brand ambassadors for your company? And I want to be very specific and describe a situation. After the move-in, your maintenance employees are basically the only employees that actually get in direct contact with your residents, with a few exceptions, right? If they prefer to, go by the office and ask a question, but they have the option not to, right? So if they really don't want to ever step foot in an office, they have that option. With maintenance, it's different because, you can do maintenance remotely.
Yes.
So how do you see your maintenance teams impacting your brand and helping your brand?
It's a really great question. So I actually began my property management career in operations. I worked directly in leasing offices. I started as a leasing agent and worked my way up to be an assistant general manager. And I happen to work in both the New York and Miami markets. So I've had really great on-site experience in very, very high energy, high intense markets that do require that high level of hospitality. And that's one thing that Bozzuto really prides itself on, is that when we manage our Class A communities, we have that high level hospitality and we're going above and beyond. We're offering additional services. Going directly to your question about our maintenance teams, I think it starts with training, onboarding and training. As long as we're all having the same consistent training, we're all getting the same messaging, we're all getting the same approach given to us and strategy on how to handle good and bad situations, because unfortunately both happen no matter what's going on. We're all one big team. We're working off of each other the experience that you have with your maintenance should be the same exact experience that you have with the leasing team. And on a corporate level, like we are now, it's making sure that we're setting everything up for the site teams to be successful with their various platforms and messaging as well. So I would argue, I've always said I think maintenance is way more important than the office itself, because they are, they are the ones a lot of the time, to your point, communicating with our residents far more often than a manager might be, or a leasing agent might be. And so if they're doing a good job, that typically has a positive ripple effect throughout the entire community of reviews and experiences, renewals, turnover of that sorts. So I think they're arguably the most important. And concierge as well, if you have that, is also just an extension of the team. So
yeah, they're just as dynamically important as the management team, if not more. So
absolutely. Brittney, what are some things to look forward to when it comes to Bozzuto in 2024 and beyond?
Oh, it's exciting. So as we expand out to the West Coast, we started in California, about 3-4 years ago, taken off there. So now the focus is really going to be on the Colorado and Washington markets for the next 1 to 2 years. So it's just really exciting to introduce the Bozzuto brand and culture into these markets that maybe haven't had that kind of touch point and level of service. That's what we're excited to bring to the market. And also just the engagement from our on-site teams. We really value our team members and making sure they're happy, fulfilled, engaged, and satisfied, and learning and growing constantly in their positions.
How about you, Nick, from where you stand? What are some great things to look forward to this year and beyond?
I think we're really excited to bring what we have proven to be a very successful brand and model in other very major cities, be it Boston, Florida, New York, Chicago. We have really had very great success in some other really great markets. And I think we're just excited to really be able to bring that high touch culture that we have built very strategically and intentionally into our newer markets. And again, just going back to the fact that we are very data driven. So when we do get to these markets, we are not coming in thinking that what works in location A is always going to work in location B. We really take our time, and I think the slow growth has benefited us in that way, where we truly come here to understand the market, understand the people, understand what people are looking for, and it allows us to really be able to strategically, create new partnerships, create new vendors, continue to be consistent, with our brand. And so no matter where you live with us, if it's Miami or California, you know what you're going to expect every time you walk through the door.
Yep.
Brittney, Nick, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.